I know for me, whenever I approach creating my life or recreating my life, it's usually because I feel really disconnected from my current reality. And I'm telling you guys, the more I dive into the creative process, the more I start to see the steps that are needed when it comes to creating the life you want. Hey friends, I'm Tiff, and you're listening to That's Real, a podcast about creating the lives we want, not just the ones we were told to live. I'll be sharing everything I'm learning to live my life on my terms and hopes to inspire you to do the same. Let's redefine what's possible together. Hey friends, welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Tiff. And I am honestly just getting back into the swing of things after a trip to the Virgin Islands. So, I don't know if I told you guys, but my dad was actually born and raised on St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. So, every now and then we try to get the family together to go back for a trip. So, my mom, my dad, my sister, her wife, and me, we all went down. So, my grandma lives on St. Thomas. I have an aunt that lives on St. Thomas. And then also my cousin is on St. Thomas and another aunt that lives on Virgin Gorda. So it's always nice to go and spend time there. It's kind of like a second home for me. And we had a time. A time was had. But, anyways, let's get into today's topic, which is the art of creating the life you want, not the one you were told to live. And I say the art of creating your life because the more I dive into this, the more I see that creating your life is truly a creative act. And I actually just got this book, The Art of You. I just picked it up from this bookstore called Book Soup in LA. And it's more so about reclaiming your creativity. I'm kind of on this creative journey right now. And I just loved that on the first, I think in the introduction, it literally says, art is not restricted to traditional mediums like painting or literature. A podcast can be art. Social media content can be art. Creating and marketing your business is art. Even if you don't make anything tangible, you create your life. And the author of this book is James McCrae. I just started reading it. So if any of you guys want to read it with me, feel free to. It looks like a pretty easy read. But honestly, there are a lot of books on creativity that I've been reading, and throughout them all, I feel like I get these little gems of how to create my life. So I want to talk about creating the life we want through the lens of creativity. But before we get into that, I wanted to do a temperature check to see where you guys are at. I mean, I know for me, whenever I approach creating my life or recreating my life, it's usually because I feel really disconnected from my current reality in the sense of nothing's really resonating with me anymore. It feels like a lot of things are shifting just in terms of, I mean, it could be career aspirations, it could be just your way of doing and being, it could be friendships. It just kind of feels like, at least for me, a lot in my life is being challenged or changed or honestly even removed altogether. Like, I feel like over the past year or so, I've just been shedding a lot of layers. And I'm telling you guys, the more I dive into the creative process, the more I start to see the steps that are needed when it comes to creating the life you want. So, in this episode, I'm going to talk about at least the first few steps that I think we need to take when it comes to creating or co creating our reality, because we are always co creating with the creator. This actually leads me to my first point, which is the fact that we are all creators. And I say that because we ourselves are creations. We were created by the creator. It is our natural essence, it is our true nature to create. And actually, on that note, I wanted to read a bit of this book that I've been reading. It's called "The Creative Act: A Way of Being" by Rick Rubin. You guys might have heard his name before. He's a producer, a music producer, and also the co-founder of Def Jam Records. He's worked with so many artists from Jay-Z to Adele to the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So his book again is called "The Creative Act: A Way of Being." And literally, the first chapter of his book is titled Everyone is a Creator. I don't know if you guys can see this, but if not, I'll probably like put it on the side of the screen. So he says, those who do not engage in the traditional arts might be wary of calling themselves artists. They might perceive creativity as something extraordinary or beyond their capabilities, a calling for the special few who are born with these gifts. Fortunately, this is not the case. Creativity is not a rare ability. It is not difficult to access. Creativity is a fundamental aspect of being human. It's our birthright, and it's for all of us. Creativity doesn't exclusively relate to making art. We all engage in this act on a daily basis. To create is to bring something into existence that wasn't there before. It could be a conversation, the solution to a problem, a note to a friend, the rearrangement of furniture in a room, a new route home to avoid a traffic jam. What you make doesn't have to be witnessed, recorded, sold, or encased in glass for it to be a work of art. Through the ordinary state of being, we're already creators in the most profound way, creating our experience of reality and composing the world we perceive. Okay, so the next time you want to say you're not a creator or you're not creative, remember that. Better yet, get this book. Get this book. I swear it will change the way you look at creativity. It's honestly blowing my mind. So, then the next thing that I genuinely think we need to focus on when it comes to, again, co creating our lives is paying attention to what genuinely interests us. And this could literally be anything. It could be a book, it could be a clothing brand, it could be, which I'm gonna actually tell you a story about how me being super interested in a clothing brand actually led me to something really cool. It could be, yeah, a clothing brand. It could be food. It could be whatever it is that you just find interesting or sparks joy in some way, pay attention to it. Doesn't mean you're going to act on every single thing, but I do think it's important to make a note of it. And I honestly think that in doing this, it's how we become an active participant in the co creation of our lives. And actually, also in the book, The Art of You by James McCrae, I had noted this down. So he says, are you creating with conscious intention or are you reacting to external circumstances and creating by default? And this is why I think it's really important for us to pay attention to what we like because if we don't, sometimes I feel like we just get sucked into what other people want us to do, or we start to conform to what other people are doing versus really making sure that we're creating from within and from our truth. So, I have a little story for you guys. So, as some of you guys know, I'm kind of new ish to LA. I mean, I've been here for, well, about 2.5 years now, which I still consider pretty new. I definitely have some friends here and there, but I have been really craving community. Like-minded people. I've actually been really wanting to get more involved with the creative community and things like that. So, a couple months ago, I wake up not sure where the day is going to take me. And I get a text from the Mayfair group, which is this brand that I absolutely love. I've been obsessed with them for years. Definitely look them up. They're the sweatshirts I always wear that say empathy across the front. Like they come in all these cool colors. They also have a bunch of sweatshirts and sweat sets with angel numbers. It's a really, really cool brand that I'm just like, this is my jam. I love, love, love this brand. So I get a text from the brand because I'm on their list, and it was talking about how they were doing a pop up in LA where they were giving out flowers and things like that. You could come get flowers, get an affirmation card. And I was just kind of like, this sounds really cool, but I'm kind of tired. I don't know if I want to do this today, blah, blah, blah. You know how we can be. So I journaled that morning and I was just like, God, there's this event that I got a text for. If I'm really meant to go, just put it on my heart, give me the motivation, and I'll go. A few hours later, I felt it. I was like, okay, I should go to this event. Get up, I shower, all the things, and I drive over. And when I was driving over, I noticed a newspaper stand, like a newspaper magazine stand, and kind of felt like I should check it out for some reason. So I was kind of like, okay, maybe I'll check it out after I go to the event. So I park my car. I have my like pink sweatshirt that says empathy across the front because it's a Mayfair group sweatshirt. And I'm walking up to the event and I literally almost miss it. And then a woman comes up to me and she goes, "Oh, I love your sweatshirt. Are you here for the event?" And I was like, "Yes, I am." And she goes, "Oh," she goes, "So sorry. We just ran out of flowers." And I'm like, "Oh, don't worry about it." We get to talking and she tells me she's the founder of the brand. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool." We continue talking and I tell her I'm a creator. She's like, "You know what? I'm going to send you a set. Whatever set you want, let us know. We'll send it to you." I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so sweet." So then after I chat with her for a bit, I literally walk all the way around back to my parking spot and I'm just like, "Ugh, I forgot I really wanted to check out that newspaper stand." And at first I was kind of like, "Oh, I've already walked all the way around. Do I want to go back and check out the newspaper stand?" And I was like, "You know what? I felt called to check it out when I drove over here. Let me go check it out." So I go to the newspaper stand, and I'm telling you guys, it was almost like my soul was searching for something. I was going through magazines, nothing at first really resonated. So then I just went up to the guy who was working the stand and I just asked him, "Do you have any magazines on creativity?" And he was just kind of like, like, I'm not sure. So then we kind of start looking through together. And immediately this magazine, like slash journal, pops out at me. It felt so different from any of the other magazines that were there. It was, oh, you know what? I actually have it. So this is what jumped out at me. It's called Find Peace, Keep Peace. It's a Black owned biannual journal or biannual publication that's dedicated to exploring inner peace through the lens of creativity. Like, are you kidding me? I was like, yes, this is what I was looking for. So I bought this book and decided to just drive up to Santa Monica Beach to sit by the water and read. As I was reading it, I was kind of shook by how aligned it was. Like the first page says new beginnings. And as you guys know, I've kind of been on this journey to kind of restart or just open the door to a new chapter in many ways. And even this page, what does new beginnings mean to you? Like it all just felt so aligned. Like I was eating this up. So I read the book for a bit. I'm super into it. And then I decide to make my way home. And as I'm driving home, I just felt called to say this prayer around creating community or being involved with like-minded people here in LA. Kind of just like set that intention and let it go. I come home and I was trying to turn on Netflix and for some reason Netflix wasn't working, which is weird, right? Cuz like Netflix usually works. So I was kind of like, this is odd, but whatever. And I decided to continue reading my little journal that I found. So I opened the journal and I immediately flipped to this article called The Tender Place in Between. And the quote on the main page literally says, "I think a lot of times people forget to talk about what happens in transition when you see where you're trying to go and see where you are and the discomfort that exists between the here and the now and the next." I was shook to my core because at that point in time, that was exactly how I was feeling. So then I continue reading the article and I see that it's basically an interview with this woman. Her name is Jennifer Pauline, the founder, and she's the founder of With Creators, which is a community centered creative studio. And I was like, this sounds really cool. You know, like I've been craving creative community. Like, let me look into this. I go on their website and I see that they have an upcoming retreat called Inner World. And it literally said, "Inner World, a retreat for women in charge, a day long gathering offering restorative practices designed for those who lead with intention." Friends, I signed up immediately. Immediately. I was like, wait, this is what I've been craving, what I've been looking for. So then I go to the retreat and it was so cool. I loved every second of it. And then immediately after, I went up to the founder and I was like, I loved everything about this retreat. And then I also told her the story of what led me here, which is a story that I just told you guys. And even she was kind of like, oh my gosh, it was like you were divinely guided here. And especially because there were only 2 people who signed up before the retreat was actually announced, me and another person. So I got in even before she had posted about it, before she had shared anything about it. And again, thank God I did because it sold out so quickly that if I had if I had tried to get in when she had announced it, I probably wouldn't have. It's just like, "What?" But again, all of this happened because I followed what I was just genuinely interested in, which was that brand that I loved, that I've loved for years. And honestly, through that event, I met some really cool people. It's so funny. Two other girls who were there were actually from Boston too. So I'm originally from Boston, and we ended up hanging out afterwards. And actually, one of them happens to be a podcast producer who was just like really connected in this industry, and she actually put me in touch with someone who ended up consulting on my podcast. So it's kind of like friends. You never know where following what you're just genuinely interested in will take you. I literally was just going to this event because I really liked this brand. That's literally all I was doing. Who would have known that it would have led me to one, being a part of a really cool retreat that I really needed at the time? I learned a lot, and then just kind of opened the door to a really cool community. So I say all of this to say it is so important to pay attention to what you think is interesting because you never know where it will lead you. And again, it can be anything from a fashion brand to a restaurant that you love to a topic. Because as you guys know, I'm super interested in creativity right now. It can be anything that your heart desires. If it sparks joy, if it sparks curiosity, if it makes you pause and want to learn more, follow it, trust it. So, friends, that's all from me. Just really wanted to share all that I'm learning about where we can start to create the lives that we want. As I'm on this journey, I'm going to be sharing more with you just as I kind of figure out the blueprint to doing all of this. I know that it can be a lot, when you decide you want to recreate or reinvent yourself in some way, but my goal is to make it a little bit easier for you, for me, just for all of us. So, if any of what I shared resonated with you, if any of it made you want to say that's real, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Oh, you can actually also comment on Spotify now. I'm not sure about Apple Podcasts, but leave me a comment if you're listening to this on Spotify. Also leave me a 5-star rating and review if you enjoyed this episode. I love bringing you guys this content, and I hope you love it too. So that's all from me, friends. Thanks so much for watching or listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.